Hey, hey,
Hey, Thomas.
how's it going?
It's good. How are you doing?
Good. Enjoying my evening on my balcony. Sun is just gone now, so getting a bit fresh.
Yeah, it looks
But
nice.
yeah, summer has arrived in Germany, finally.
Yeah, here too. It's I was just sharing this with the team. We've got 100-degree plus. Like it's
Oh,
starting. It's starting. Here it goes. We may not see under three digits for a couple of months now.
uh, Austin summer is it's a bit more intense, I
Yeah,
forgot, than
you
than
were here,
than my
you were here
summer.
you were here last summer, right?
Yeah, yeah, yeah.
Right
I
around this
was,
time.
yeah, I was about to say it was like exactly 1 year ago almost.
Yeah.
And yeah, it was quite a bit warmer than in Europe,
Yeah.
at least in Germany. So yeah. Uh, how's the work at GraphBase going?
There's a lot to do. Uh, there's a lot to do. The last 6 weeks or so, I've been just focusing mostly on the dashboard design, and just like design stuff, and not doing a whole lot with um, the IDE that we have, which is we call it
Hmm.
Pathfinder internally. Hopefully by the end of this week I'll have there's some like important stuff that we're missing right now. Pathfinder doesn't retain history, so it like refreshes every time
Hmm.
you load it. um, it doesn't have a variables editor yet, so there's a couple of like really important things that I need to get in, and hopefully I can get it done this week. And then eventually we'd like to find a way to like open source it. I mean, it's a
Hmm.
much more narrow audience than graphical. So hope maybe by the end of summer. I don't know. It's not really something that I'm totally focused on right now. It's really just a graph based thing, but it's fun to work on. It's fun to like get paid to do the thing that I was doing all last year for free. Hey, Ricky.
Hey, Ricky. I think we can't hear you yet. Still not.
Yeah, no audio.
Still no audio. It's still not working. Oh man.
Or something.
Now you're frozen.
Yeah.
Now audio seemed to work, but internet
All
is
right.
gone.
Well, while Ricky's trying to figure out the audio thing, Thomas, I have a question.
Yes.
Patrick from Apollo had a question on the Discord earlier, like this week or last week, and he's having an issue with React. And so I was loading up the repo, and I pulled the latest, and I was just trying to launch it to try to help figure out what's going on. And when I do yarn start graphical after installing and building,
Hmm.
um, Webpack dev server runs, it says everything's fine, but I don't get a URL to look at graphical.
There have been some changes. I think you have to go to slash dev now or something. I can't recall. So it's not on the localhost 8080 doesn't work for some reason anymore. It's now localhost 8080 slash dev or something. Let me quickly double check. I think it was one of the dependency upgrades that changed that. It's not def. What was it? You probably didn't adjust it in the README.
Yeah, I can't find it.
Which you should have.
GraphQL? No.
Oh, okay, I see. I had some changes I didn't stash. Maybe that's why it didn't work. Let me build. Yeah, it's /def. /def should work. Just didn't
8080
force. /def.
dev.
Yeah.
Does not work.
Doesn't work?
Let me look.
I mean, it's def.html. Maybe you have to explicitly say .html. I don't know. It redirected me automatically.
That does work, yeah. Okay.
Okay, I got redirected automatically. Yeah, we should adjust it in the README. That's a good shot.
I'll do is do it right now.
Nice.
Where is that? Where is that defined? Where is that? I'm like so confused. I don't know what's going on. Is that just is that a Webpack 5 thing?
I think it's something with the Webpack config.
Oh, I see it. I see it here. Okay, I just missed it. I see it.
Yeah. Yeah. Yeah.
It hasn't always been like that though.
It hasn't, yeah. Like the setting, interestingly, that's also why I wonder it wasn't changed. But for some reason I think it's something about a hot module reloading or something. Which apparently changed. I can't tell you exactly.
Yeah.
I think it was one of the PRs that Ricky opened, but I can't remember
it was the
which
Webpack,
one it was.
It was the Webpack upgrade. It had to be it because now we're at 5, but the server's still at 4. Yeah, that was it. All right. Well, I'll patch up the README here.
Yeah. Thank you very much.
I was hoping that Dima was going to join today because I'm super curious to find out how he's been getting along with Monaco integration. He said that he's close, which is fantastic.
Yeah.
But I haven't heard any details. Do you know any further details about it?
No, me neither. I was also hoping to have a chat about this today and get more insights. I haven't following along too closely recently, so I was hoping for an update.
Okay. Well, so outside of this issue with me getting this up and running and asking about Monaco, the only other topic I had was to talk about conference in September.
Yeah, I'll be there.
Great.
I've also submitted a proposal for a pretty, I don't want to say generic, but just more or less a talk about GraphiQL, where we are, what we I mean, last year at the foundation conference, it was basically, hey, here's the plan for V2, and this is basically like connecting the dots of how we shipped it, what else happened, and like where we want to go. I would hope that we have also Monaco that we can talk about by then, since it's still 3 months to go, so there's some time left. Interestingly, Dimitri also submitted a talk proposal, which is kind of the same, and invited me as co-presenter. So we now have 2 proposals. If I didn't know you can like invite co-presenters, so I'm listed in mine. But I would love to co-present in case we get one of these talks accepted. I think it shouldn't be a big deal to add more presenters to that. So I think it's also should probably be around the corner that they decide on which talks get a slot. But let's see.
Yeah, I mean,
so
I think the talks from last year were great, and an updated version of that is awesome. As we know, there aren't. I mean, there's tons and tons of people that are using GraphiQL, but they're not following along. Like, I mean, we're maintainers, and I don't follow along daily. Like, I check in once a week, and I see if there's something that can be done, but it's really helpful for people that are using it that aren't following along, even, like way less than we are, to get those updates, especially at, the conference this year. And if we can commit to and let everybody know that we're going to get, big features in, that's even better.
yeah, would love to. So I'm hoping we'll get a slot. Would be good.
Are you guys
I haven't yet. I think Stellit is sponsoring this.
Yeah.
I'm not sure to which extent. But I've seen something in our Slack about sponsoring. So, but
Cool.
I don't know the details. Also, I haven't yet thought about detail, by the way, in like what exactly to talk about. Like I'm very open to. I mean, given that it's 3 months out, so it's also hard to commit to something now, and without knowing where we'll be in 3 months. So
I feel like given the positive vibes coming from Dima, like there could be radical changes to announce, and that might, we still have, like you said, 3 months. There a lot can happen in 3 months. So it's gonna be fun. I'm excited for the conference. I'm actually from that part of the country originally. I'm from Oregon, which is just of California. So yeah. I'm gonna be driving out there and
nice.
Going home for a week afterwards. And the weekend previous, I have a lot of friends that live in San Francisco, and they're big on going to the mountains there and skiing, snowboarding, hiking, biking, like year round in the Sierras. So we're gonna see if we can head up to the mountains and do some cycling or hiking or something like that. As soon as I figure out
nice
what those plans are, I'll let everybody know that we're planning outdoor stuff at the conference, and if anybody wants to join up, that'd be great.
Awesome. Hey, Ricky.
Hey.
Here we go.
And we can hear you. Awesome.
Oh, okay. Cool.
Finally. How's it going? How are you doing?
Oh, I'm doing okay. Yeah.
Nice. We've just been chatting a bit about the upcoming GraphiQL Conf, the Foundation conference. So we actually now have two open proposals. I submitted a talk about GraphiQL, and also Dima submitted one. And like it was just for the lack of coordination. So we would, I guess, in both cases co-present if we get one. You said you probably won't come to the conference, right? If I recall correctly.
Yeah, I mean, well, no one like I don't have anyone to sponsor me to go, so
Yeah. Okay. I see.
I don't plan on going back to the US until December. So yeah.
Okay. Yeah, that's actually haven't talked about anything else until now. We were hoping that Dimitri also joins, talking a bit about Monaco and the state of the world there. But yeah, seems like we have to wait until he's finished up the work to see what this looks like. This looks like.
Yeah, it looks like he said he should be finished this week or next. So yeah.
Just exciting.
It's awesome.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, it is exciting. Next time though, we've learned that we need to create a branch for doing a pre-release state if we want to avoid from accidentally creating change set, like putting the whole repo in alpha release as per the change set docs. So now we've learned we can just create a one-time feature branch, for a new release for the website of things, and put that into pre-release so that changes that are merged to that branch are then released in pre, but then the rest of the repo can remain in stable, and then we can even up channel like hot fixes and stuff while pre-release work is in motion. So yeah, it sounds complicated, but it wouldn't be too complicated for short-lived pre-release phases, like no longer than a month.
Yeah, if you don't plan on doing an alpha for 3 months, then this sounds manageable. Yeah.
I kind of understand why the change sets people had to go that route, because having built this kind of tooling manually before, implementing it with semantic release is really hard. So
yeah, I see.
And it's also important what we learned because we did pre-releases for GraphiQL 1, if you remember, and we had the issue of people needing back channel fixes for 0x versions, but we were on like 1 beta or 1 alpha at the time, and so we couldn't help them, and that's unfortunate. So like this really does protect against that, and it's helpful because then it's rare that there are that many downstream fixes anyways, but you keep it in sync as long, just like any feature branch, it's not as active as like a product, like an internal product feature branch. So it's not as messy as we might be used to, or as we might be used to in like the commercial world. But yeah, it's going well. I'm excited. I'm glad that we chose to do a pre-release for a major change, and that we're going for a major breaking change without Monaco, because it shows that we're not afraid to improve things in a more iterative fashion and make more iterative breaking changes, that people can adapt to, because then we don't all at once with Monaco or something, so
yeah, that's nice. Now that we can publish things again. Awesome. Yeah, I don't have anything in particular that I have to talk about other than Monaco, which would have come to mind. Do you have something that you have to bring to the agenda today?
Me? Not. I mean, I have some things to talk about with the LSP and VS Code, but considering I don't have time to work on those things now, there's not really much I can do besides talk about them. So, but I'm applying for grants in the hope that I can get some funding to continue working on the LSP and VS Code extensions, because there's a lot that needs to be done, but like everyone, I got bills to pay. So,
Have you
like,
have you reached out to Lee or Benji or anybody else on the TSC to find out about the grants that we all submitted last, what was it, November, December, that we still don't have a decision about? Have you asked about that yet?
All I can say is there's things in motion, but it'd be unprofessional to talk about this in the call. But yeah, but also in addition to that, the link that I posted to this tech sovereignty fund, it might be applicable for us as well. So, and the grant sizes are very healthy, 65 to 300,000 euro. So it's definitely for group projects. So it would be something that we could apply for together, for example.
I heard about this. I heard about this tech sovereignty fund in Germany on NPR.
Yeah.
Here. They covered it. I think it was a month ago or maybe 6 weeks ago. It was relatively recent. They covered it. Just, I mean, I was just listening to the radio and I heard about it. I didn't think it would have, like, I didn't ever think I would come in contact with it in any way, but.
It's a thing. Several colleagues have recommended it to me. One of my friends here is working with some of the people on the fund in another project. So, not to say that there's insider connections or something, but they were like, you should apply for this because it's exactly what you're doing. So now a lot of the projects that get grants are like Open PGP and Open SSH, things that are very obviously like widely applicable, but our tool chain is definitely applicable. I was thinking of going for option 1 or for challenge 1, which is more just about the health of the developer tool chain. But there's a second one if someone wanted to apply with a focus on enhancing security in the tool chain. But I don't know if there's as much work to do there as there would be for something like a package manager, for example, which some of the other grants have been for. But my colleagues feel that that the GraphiQL ecosystem is an excellent fit for this.
Well, I'm reading it now, and challenge 3 is about documentation.
Yes, so there's a whole challenge just about documentation.
Yeah, I mean, that's something that we've been talking about for a while, but just it's always been like on the back burner for what we're all working on. So that might actually be, that might even be another option. I feel like that's probably less involved than especially the first one, but an option. So Ricky, is this something that we apply to individually or as a group?
I think we could apply as a group. I think it's designed for, whole teams. Obviously 300,000 euro limit shows they're willing to give grants to entire teams. So we could apply together. We could work up a Google Doc together, and we could apply to both for challenge 1 and 3, if we wanted. We could have a different budget for each, but we would just put together a budget, and you just have to like document expenses and other things. But it's meant to cover like actual living expenses for people to work full time on the project.
Yeah.
So, and we just have a well-structured plan. I was going to, I guess I was interested in applying for the LSP and IDE ecosystem, like the desktop IDE ecosystem, but we could apply together for both web and LSP. I feel like they'd be interested in a grant that helps both browser users and, for example, Vim or Emacs or VS Code users and Sublime, because the LSP is used by all IDE users. So, and there's a lot of improvements that need to happen for all of them. But then the web side with GraphiQL is important because it's also frequently used. Like both sides of the tooling ecosystem are necessary. It's rare. Sometimes people say, oh, I don't even need, graphical anymore because the VS Code extension. Or I'm like, wow, good. Like, especially when the execution one worked. I want to fix that. But it's a long way off from being as useful as it. There's a lot of factors that can contribute to that. But either way, all the parts of the ecosystem we're working on are important to the whole developer experience. So I feel like number one is important, and we're contributing towards the ecosystem that others are using to build out tools. I found Monaco GraphQL in the wild several times recently. I was working on a geospatial project and found this website that had all these geospatial data sets, and they were using Monaco GraphQL in their own custom web implementation. So I didn't look closely enough to see if it was with React or anything else, but it was cool to see. Oh, and I came across another company recently where my friend was like, oh yeah, my brother works here, and their intro video had Monaco GraphQL in like a screenshot. So I was like, nice, okay.
I actually have a couple of updates that I'd like to get into Monaco GraphQL. I just haven't had the time. This would be a good opportunity for that. The one that is the most bothersome for me, and this is just, I think it's just a small update, is the IntelliSense trigger. So like when you're at the end of an operation and you hit enter to get to a new line, it automatically pops up with fragment, query, mutation, or subscription, like to prompt you to add another operation. It doesn't give you the opportunity to have a new line there. Like you can't, it just does it automatically. Is new line still in trigger characters? That was something I thought we had removed, but maybe we only removed it from the LSP. I haven't looked, and I don't want to. We don't need to talk about it in detail right now. Okay. It's just like there's a couple of little things like that I'd love to get into Monaco GraphQL, and I haven't had time to get in and go through it. This would be a great opportunity to do that. So it looks like applications open a week ago, close in about 3 weeks, and then they're looking at selecting in July and starting in August of this year.
Yeah.
This is happening fast.
Yes. Yeah. So we would need to apply very soon, and start right away. So I was going to start working on a proposal today. Here's a link though to where you'd fix that in Monaco GraphQL though.
Oh, thank you for that.
Yeah. So there's probably excessive trigger characters there, so I got a little carried away by that a year or two ago. So
new line is weird because it's actually you do want to trigger. You just don't want it to trigger with a condition that your previous character is closing bracket.
Yeah, exactly. But there are ways to trigger autocomplete without trigger characters. So trigger characters just an easy option, but because it's so universal, it doesn't provide a lot of flexibility. Universal isn't the right word, but because it's
pervasive.
Pervasive. Yeah, it's like everywhere there's a new line that'll happen. Yeah. So what we want instead is, to be able to be more selective, and there's just other ways to do that, and then you trigger the autocomplete manually using the editor, or programmatically, So I can't remember what it is, but it's like run command or whatever. You know what I'm talking about, where you can programmatically trigger autocomplete with Monaco?
No, I don't know the details that well.
Oh, okay. I can show you how. Let's schedule a time.
Yeah, I didn't mean to bring it up. I mean, I'm going to read this application process, And then if you want to get a Google Doc going and we could just have a conversation there, I think this could work out really well. Like if I can do 10 hours a week and you're full time on it, and if whoever wants to get involved, we could just slice up the distribution based on like how many hours people are committing to putting in, and then just be adults about doing it.
Yeah, that would work. I wish my apartment in Berlin wasn't so expensive, but yeah, I could still make it work. Yeah.
Well, I mean,
I applied to like 80 places, but I think my German was terrible, and I finally got one, but it was very expensive, like the most expensive one I applied for. So yeah, a Neubau too. So yeah, it'll be very expensive to renew the lease too. But that's okay. Hopefully I'll find something cheaper. But either way, I think in the next 10 months I could accomplish a lot, or less, 5 months even.
Well, I mean, if we fund through Tech Fund, this is a significant accelerator for the project as a whole.
Yes. Mm-hmm.
Significant.
So yeah, it could sponsor a lot of work. It could, some additional costs that we might have as well. Well,
as far as I know, the GraphQL grants are only a max of 10, and I imagine that like very few people that are applying to the GraphQL community grants are going to get the full 10. The commitments generally aren't that big, so
yeah,
this is a great opportunity.
Yeah, we could think of that as gap financing.
Yeah.
Yeah. So no, I think with all these together, it could be very, very useful. So, and I know the German Bundesstaat will be into funding this because there's a lot of German companies that use GraphQL. So, and their mission isn't entirely just about security. As you can see, there's like machine learning projects that have received funding and whatnot. So GraphQL, I think, is like, it's not ubiquitous as like CURL, but it's like widely used. So yeah, I think it's enough so that we could end up on that list if we play our cards right, as we say. So yeah, cool. Yeah. Otherwise, I'm hoping to get hired by a company that is or wants to use GraphQL, but I can't rule it out. Like the last company I worked at, we weren't really using GraphQL, so you know how it goes.
Yeah.
We get paid. So, and but that wouldn't keep me from contributing, so. Cool. But yeah, I don't know if I can think of anything else. If you're out there listening, thanks for all your contributions. The community does a lot to help advance the project, and we really appreciate that, and expect some exciting things this year if we can get everything in order. And big thanks to Dimitri for all you're doing, and to everyone supporting GraphQL.
Yeah, and this calendar, the next month's meeting is officially on the calendar, so I hope that there'll be more folks joining, and I also hope that we'll get that Monaco update that we've all been waiting so long for.
Looking forward.
Great. All right.
Yeah.
Thanks for joining, guys.
Yeah, thanks. Talk to you soon.
Thanks a lot. See you around.
See ya.